Welcome to the Fill Your Cups podcast. We're your hosts, Morgan
and Bailey.
Hey! Bailey and I are in a mood because this is Bailey's last podcast episode for a while.
Yeah, before I have my baby, and I'm taking a whole maternity leave just so I can focus on me and my baby. But I will miss it a lot, and it feels really weird to be here right now and no, it's the last episode that I'm recording for a while.
So crazy. She's coming back.
Yes, coming back.
Is the plan.
Just taking some time off, so I won't be here for a couple episodes. But when I come back, it'll be like I never left.
Yeah, so wish Bailey luck with her baby, but more importantly, wish me luck with the podcast.
I'm excited to listen as just a listener instead of
I hope you do.
Oh, I definitely will.
And you're making a new listener too, so you're really doing it for everybody, for the good of the podcast.
I really am. That's what I'm all about. No, shout out to me and my baby. I'm gonna be having her soon.
Heck yeah.
Honestly, by the time you guys are listening to this episode, I might already have her. I don't know.
So shout out baby girl.
Yeah, shout out baby girl.
Still don't know her name. Well, you do. I
know
don't.
her name. Well, soon enough, everyone will know her name.
Yeah.
But before we get on to today's episode, which is going to be all about kind of how to get the things done. So we've done episodes before that's like habits to get your shit together. And we've done things that are like sometimes you just have to do the hard thing or whatever, things like that. So now we're giving you a plan in place of how to get this stuff done. And it was kind of inspired by, I have these things called nesting nights.
Yes.
Which we'll get more into that in just a second, because first, Morgan, what is filling your cup?
Yes. I'm really excited about this episode, by the way, because I feel like you've been crushing pregnancy and preparation, and it doesn't look the same for everybody, but I feel like if I were going to do it, I'd want to do it the way you're doing it.
Oh my God, thank you.
So, and I feel like you can apply it to lots of parts of life.
Yes.
So I feel like it's applicable to those that are not just pregnant or moms or whatever. We can all apply it. So, but before that, I am drinking I think it's called Craft Mix. I can't remember what those little packets were, but they're these little packets. They're like low sugar, low calorie, whatever, and they're cocktails, but you can either do a mocktail or a cocktail, so you can add liquor, optional, and I did. And this one's the mango margarita one. My friend Chelsea got me these, got them for me, and and I have them in a little glass that she got for me as well, and you have one too. But yeah, they were specifically for the podcast to keep our drinks cool and whatnot.
Filled.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I have, a little mango margarita situation. What about you?
I've just got some water today because that's all I've been craving. I just want water right now. I guess, and my raspberry leaf tea. If you're pregnant, you know. But just water today for me.
Nice. Well, we already did our shout out because it was you.
I know. Shout out to me and my baby.
Shout out to Bailey.
Like I said, we're kind of doing an episode today about how to actually get your stuff done, how to actually get your shit done. That's what I'm going to title this episode, I think. But this was all inspired because I've been doing these things called nesting nights, which when you're pregnant, there's this biological need, and they call it nesting. And it's where you're preparing for your baby, you're getting ready. It's this instinctual thing of you just feel like you have to do something at all times.
Yeah.
And I was feeling really, really overwhelmed because I was like, oh my God, there's so much to do. And my brain was constantly thinking of the next thing to do. And we have to do this and then blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make something called a nesting night and block off our calendar for every single Friday, which Mason was a champ for that because I told him he could not make any plans on Fridays. I was like, no, if your friends want to do something, tell them you're busy. And he did. Every single Friday.
That's awesome.
He
loves to be busy.
He loves to be busy, but he was like, no, I love these nesting nights. They're fun. We get them done, blah, blah, blah. But I decided that I was going to go in my calendar and mark off every single Friday and declare that as a nesting night. And during those nesting nights, we would take tasks from my giant to-do list of all these things that had to get done still, and we would get them done during those Friday nights specifically. So that's kind of where this idea for this episode came from, because I like Morgan said, and not to toot my own horn, but it was very successful. We got everything done. And like we still had
early.
Yeah.
You had, I think that you got your final task that you really wanted to have done before she was here done like 2 or 3 weeks early.
Yeah.
And then after that, you had some like small things that really wouldn't have been a big deal if they didn't get done before she got there.
But I was like, well, we got time.
Yeah.
So we might as well. Yeah. So honestly, having the nesting nights, like we kind of crushed it. And so we were just thinking it'd be kind of fun to do an episode today of, you know, how I went through these nesting nights, but then also how you can apply it in your own life or your own to-do list and just other ways to really motivate yourself to get things done that you have to get done.
Yeah. And I really like it because I think that a feeling that I get whenever I feel panic or overwhelmed about having so much to do, I feel like some of that just comes from not really even knowing exactly what I have to do. So I love the idea of just listing it all out, getting it all out there, because I have this feeling whenever, for instance, I know that I need to clean or something, but I haven't made a list. I'm like, oh, I have so much to do, but I actually have no idea how much I have to do because I haven't actually tangibly looked at, okay, I have to clean the bathrooms. I have to do this. I have to do that, you know? And then once you put it all down, I feel like that is the first feeling of relief. Yeah. Because you actually know what you're getting into. I feel like it applies to work whenever you sit down for the day and you're like, oh, I have so much to do. Yeah. And then you just kind of let your email or phone calls or whatever dictate your day instead of having a plan in place and dedicating the time to it. That feels so much, to me, it feels so much more relieving. Yeah. And if you don't get to the thing, like if you don't get to a specific thing on the list, you still can see what you've gotten done. Yes. And then you can move the other one to the next time that you're tackling that project or whatever it is.
Exactly. I get that same way where I'm just like, but mine's usually because I'm like, I don't know where to start. Yes. Or I'm like, some of these things that I have to get done require me to do these other things first. And I just don't want to, or like it's too hard, or the steps are too long. Like, I feel like that's what always gets me in my head is I'm like, oh my gosh, like one thing to do is really 5 things to do. And I just can't do any of them kind of thing.
But if you do one thing today and then one thing next Friday, and then, you know, then by the end of 5 weeks, you've got all 5 things done. Yes. Major things or whatever.
Exactly. I have noticed that when I do not do things that I have to do and I just keep putting them off, I feel really like unreliable to myself. Like I'm like, oh, yep, I have to get it done. So then Mason's asking me like, hey, have you gotten this done? I'm like, no. And it's just like, or you're asking me, hey, have you done this? No. And it's just like, I keep putting it off. Like I'm such a procrastinator, things like that. But when I get it done, I notice I feel so much better about myself and I don't feel flaky and I feel reliable and I feel like someone who gets done what they say they were going to get done. And I think that has been such a change in my head from kind of like starting these nesting nights, is that I really feel productive. And I feel like if not for me, then I'm getting things done and other people can count on me to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. It reminds me of this analogy that one of the podcasters that I used to listen to use all the time, where she talked about her confidence bucket. And she said, every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're dropping a little whatever in your confidence bucket. Yes. And the more times that you keep a promise to yourself, that confidence bucket fills up. And then you just feel more assured. So like, reliable, confident. But it goes the same way. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you're kind of removing whatever from your confidence bucket. So your confidence starts to dwindle a little bit more. Yeah. And I noticed this a lot whenever I first started healthy habits, like specifically things like food tracking or working out more or taking a walk in the morning or things like that. Yeah. So when I first started implementing like those kinds of habits, and I would say, okay, in the morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to work out. It is really, really hard at first, but when you actually do the thing that you said you were going to do for yourself, then it just makes you feel so much better.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Like, I am the person who follows through.
Yes, and it's the same way. Yeah. So I feel like it makes so much sense that you need to have, whenever you're finding yourself putting things off, you need to have some sort of plan or some things to get you going. Yes. And I think that these nesting nights, like this is such a good basis to go off of
Mhm.
to plan for any situation like that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I will continue doing them. They kind of remind me of like we've talked about like weekly resets before, things
Yeah.
like that. And they kind of remind me of that because you've got this specific date, you know what you're tackling, and then that's what you get done.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we can kind of get into my nesting nights specifically
Mhm.
and kind of how I work those out and everything. And then once I talk about our nesting nights, we'll go on to a couple other ideas and ways that you can kind of get things done.
Yeah.
But our nesting nights. So, like I said, it started off with me being like, oh my God, I have so much to do. I don't know where to start. And honestly, I felt like it was all on me too, because Mason would be so helpful. And he'd be like, what do you need to get done? And I'd be like, oh my God, I 80 things. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell
Yeah.
you to get done first. And there's just so much. And he's like, oh, okay. And so then like,
It's hard to ask for help when you don't know what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Because you've got so many things. You're like, well, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And it just
Yes.
it turns into analysis paralysis.
Literally. So what I did first was I went on a Google Docs and I just started typing just things that needed to get done. I said like 1 period and then like hang up blinds in baby's room. 2, mount dresser in baby's room. 3, get diapers. Like things like that. Just whatever I could think of.
Mhm.
There was no organized method of it at first. It was just brain dumping.
Yes.
Literally every single thing I could think of. And then once I got done with every single thing I could think of, it was a list of 84 items. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh my God, this is crazy. So then from there, I took all of those items that I needed to get done and I put them into categories. Now for a nesting night, and because I'm pregnant, my categories are going to look very different from someone who's like cleaning the house.
Mhm.
But it was things of like to do in her room, to do in our room, to do in the house, to get set up, to buy. Like it was
Mhm.
things like that.
Mhm.
So that way I could have them easily categorized and I could see easily what needed to be done. And that way, instead of having a giant list of 84 items,
Mhm.
it kind of made it look like I had like 7 to 8 things to do in each category,
Mhm.
which is so much more manageable
Mhm.
and so much easier to tackle. So that's kind of how I started it. And then, like I said, I took every single Friday that we had from the day I decided to do the nesting days all the way until our due date.
Mhm.
And I blocked off on the calendar. Me and Mason have a shared calendar. I blocked off on the calendar nesting night.
Mhm.
And then within the nesting night in my Google Calendar, I went in and in the description for like the calendar event,
Mhm.
I went in and I put what we were going to be doing for each of those nesting nights, which I
Mhm.
think is key.
Yeah.
Because like scheduling it is great, but what are you doing during
Yes.
the scheduling? So that way when we get there, we're not like, oh, we don't know what to do.
Which
and then we
thing
don't
we
do
should
anything.
do? Yeah.
Yeah, or we're like, oh, we were gonna do this, but we didn't buy it in time, so it didn't come in. So now we're just like, let's just push it off.
Mhm.
Because that's something we would totally do.
Yeah.
And so I went in and I put for the description every single thing. And it was so nice doing this because I was able to put like 2 or 3 things that we were gonna get that done that Friday.
Mhm.
And by doing that, like it just made it so easy that I was like, okay, this Friday, like it's only going to take an hour to do these 3 things that we need to get done.
Yes.
Great. Like amazing. Literally one of them I had on there, like change my insurance to be my married name instead of my maiden name
Mhm.
because I had never changed my social security number
Yeah.
after we got married. And that was something like I had to get done beforehand. And so that's one of the things on my list that I would have been like, oh my God, I can't do this insurance thing because I never did passport. I never did the social security thing.
Yeah.
So I just can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, and I just never would have done it.
Yeah.
But once I put changing the name for insurance on my list, I was like, oh, I need to get my social security number changed first or social security name changed first, whatever.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I like put that on one of the lists for one of the nights and Mason was like, oh yeah, all you have to do is log in and like submit the change. And it took less than 3 minutes.
Which is awesome.
And it got done. And then it was everything is changed and everything's cleared over. So I'm a drawless at the hospital. My baby will have a drawless as her last name. And like,
Perfect.
it's perfect. And I'm like, this is something that we absolutely would have put off.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. It's just something we would have put off.
I totally get what you
So,
mean.
yeah.
This is not the same, but we do this a lot with car things.
Oh,
Whenever we're nervous about taking our car in or we think something's going to happen. And the last few times, knock on wood,
yeah.
the last few times that we've had to do this and we've put it off for so long,
Mhm.
we end up taking the car in and the thing ends up being free easily fixable, $50, like not nearly as scary as we expected.
Yes.
And so sometimes it's just like, okay, you just got to put it on your calendar. You have to know exactly what you're doing and then go in. And then sometimes it's annoying and it's a bit of work or a bit of money or whatever. But sometimes it's simply logging in and it takes 5 minutes and then you're set, you know?
Yes.
So I love that example because even though it is very specific to baby,
yeah,
it's something that can apply to anything that you are putting off.
Yes.
Like, yes, sometimes it doesn't work out that well, but sometimes it just does.
Yeah.
And then you just got that shit done.
Yes. We had a big thing on the list that I've been stressing about so much, but it was renewing our car tags because they're going to expire in October. And I was like, I just did it. Look at us. Oh, good job. But yeah, our car tags are going to expire in October. And I was like, I really don't want to have to go to the DMV with a brand new baby in October. And like, it would have to be the beginning of October. And I was like, she's going to be like a week or two old. Mason would have to go do this for us. Do I want him to be gone for 3 hours? No.
Yeah.
And so I was so stressed out about this. However, me and my car tags, it was never going to be an easy process because had I ever paid property taxes on this car? No.
Oh my God.
Had I had this car since 2023? Yes.
Oh
my God. So, yeah. And this is one of those things that happen when you like put it off. You just never do it. So I never did it. So I had on our baby nesting to-do list of like
pay property taxes.
Yes. The item was literally put in there. I was like, figure out what has to be done to register the car. And I was like,
I love that.
We need to figure this out. So one night, that was literally what we did. So we figured out, okay, first things first, we need to pay the property taxes. How do we pay the property taxes? Because it was never on my property taxes and it wasn't on Mason. So I call up and I'm like, hey, like, how do we pay this property tax? It's like nowhere. Yeah. And they're like, do you ever claim the vehicle? I'm like, no. So boom, first set. I'm like, okay, we need to claim the vehicle. And of course, they're like, oh, you can't do it online because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
Oopsie. So you have to come in. So we're like, okay, so schedule an appointment. And then the appointment goes so fast. We were there in like 10 minutes. Pay the property taxes.
Well, and the item on the list that night was not get everything figured out with the car. It was figure out what needs to happen.
Yes,
you know?
To get the ball rolling.
It's like you split it up. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we split it up because we knew, I knew like we couldn't get it all done that one night. And had it said like register the car and then we got to that night and couldn't have done it, it would have just been a dead end right there.
Yeah.
We would have just like, I know me and Mason, we wouldn't have followed up with it or done anything to go from there. So
that's the tip I feel like I love the most about your nesting nights is if you're designating time, you're blocking out the time. Like, yes, that's important, like you said. But if you're designating that time, you need to pick out what bite-sized things you're going to do in that time first. Because once you get to that time, you'll either be like, I've got too much to do. I can't figure out what to do. Or you put something on the list, like get the car figured out. And then you feasibly can't do that.
Yeah,
in that time.
Well, it's Sunday. The DMV is closed.
Yeah. So you need to start with, okay, this is step one. And then you can put, you know, if step one leads to step 2, 3, and 4 that night and you're done, great.
Yeah.
But if step one leads to, okay, step 2 needs to happen next time we designate time to this, then that's okay.
Yeah.
But you're just like, okay, I checked it off the list. I figured out what I need to do.
Yes. Check. And so then it was, now I have 83 things to get done.
Exactly.
Check. So yeah. That is how we went about our nesting night. So those are like very 2 specific examples, but one of them was due to baby, one of them not due to baby, one of them was due to me. And finally got it all figured out so we can register our car online and it's going to be great. No one has to go to the DMV. I'm so excited.
That's nice.
So nice. So that is how we did our nesting nights. And yeah, each Friday night, we got done whatever was on that list. It also made it really good that I'd be like, okay, on this Friday night, we are going to organize the garage. However, I know to organize the garage that we need to buy storage shelves. So then I bought the storage shelves on like the Tuesday before that Friday. And I was like, oh, they'll be in on Friday.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that way we can get it done.
Yes.
Like it just helped so much to have such a specific plan.
Yes.
And it helped me. It helped me whenever Mason said like, hey, what are we doing this week? I'm like, oh, you can just go into the calendar and see it. I listed it all out right there. I'm like, I don't know. I think I will absolutely be doing that like ongoing, even if it's for monthly resets or whatever.
I love it. And I think it reminds me so much of whenever I listen to podcasters talk about their marriage or whatever, and they talk about treating their marriage like a business.
Oh, yeah?
Or their household like a business. And not that I think that you guys are like treating each other like a business or anything, but mostly just in the form of, okay, what works well at work? And for me, like I live by my calendar and I live by this is what I'm going to do during this block of time.
Yeah.
And it works so well for me at work that I'm like, why wouldn't it work for me in my personal life?
Yeah.
And honestly, why wouldn't it work for like us in our marriage? You know, when we want to, I don't know, catch up or like when we want to, you know how you guys do the monthly, you do your monthly, is it resets?
Yeah, that's what I call them.
Monthly
or
resets?
like check-ins.
Yeah, so we do like a quarterly check-in, but then we're always like, let's go get coffee, whatever. And then we're like, so what do you want to talk about?
What should we talk about?
You know? And so I'm like, it would be good for us to have like a few things kind of like on the agenda or whatever.
Yes.
And I feel like it would be the same way with kids. And honestly, this, for me, when you started sharing about this, I was like, this is genius for home projects because everybody has a million things in their home that they want to do. And they are so simple. Like, for instance, I talked about hanging these curtains.
Yeah.
For how long did I talk about doing that? And then one week, I straight up just put it on my chores list, my Saturday chores list. And we did it.
And got it done.
And got it done.
Goes so fast.
Like, okay, no, it didn't. Because we actually, our walls are weird. But anyway, so I feel like I talked about that forever. But then once I finally like designated the time and designated specifically what I was doing. And that was a week that I didn't put on, oh, I'm gonna like clean all the bathrooms and I'm going to vacuum the stairs and I'm going to pull weeds. And I didn't put a bunch of other shit on there because I was like, okay, this is the goal for that day. And if it goes by quicker, then I expect I can get to other things. Yeah. But if it doesn't, then, and I get it done, I still got what I was hoping to accomplish done.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk a lot about not setting yourself up for failure. Like you have to set yourself up for success. And that goes into the habits that you're forming or the to-do list that you're making. Like you don't want to put pulling weeds, taking the car in for an oil inspection, hanging up the curtains. Like you can't do that all in one day. And if you were to put it on the list, then you are just setting yourself up for failure.
Yes.
So making the to-do list and organizing it and setting aside the things that you could actually feasibly do is key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then when you guys got things done, because I remember you saying that there were a lot of weeks that you ended up just being like, want to knock something else out, you know?
Yeah. That happened a lot too, where we were like, okay, well, it's Tuesday. Like we don't have anything to do. Should we do one of the tasks that's going to be on Friday? Mm-hmm. And that way, maybe on Friday, like we go see a movie, something like that. And then we're like, okay. So then we just do it on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or do it on Wednesday. Or Mason's like, hey, I have some free time. Is there anything I can knock off the list? And I'm like, yeah, like, you could do one of these 3 things. I'm like, whatever. So that made it really, really nice. And I do think that, I don't know.
I just always feel like that it's some quote I heard somewhere that action breeds motivation. And it's just like all you have to do is take the first step. Yeah. And then that's going to motivate you to take the second one and the third one. And then and a lot of the time that's why like, you dread doing something like cleaning the house or putting up the curtains or whatever. But then you do one and you're like, let's bang them all out. You know? And so it doesn't always happen that way. The first thing doesn't always go by super quickly. Mm-hmm. But it does make you again, it's a feeling of accomplishment if you do get it done. And then the feeling of motivation if you get it done and you want to keep doing stuff.
Yeah, I really like that. Action breeds motivation.
Yeah.
I had never heard that before. And that is 100% true. And 100% like what happened in our case of the nesting nights.
Yeah.
I really like it. And I think that's why we got done so early because we were like ready to go.
Yeah.
Once they started flying off the list and once we were like, oh my gosh, we're getting these things done. Yeah, we were taking off.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, the hardest part of getting anything done is just starting the process, right?
Yes.
Like you're sitting on the couch, you're comfortable, you don't want to get up, you're scrolling on your phone, whatever.
Yeah.
But as soon as you take the first act, like as soon as you take the first step, then a lot of the time you're just like, all right, bang, bang, bang. And you want to,
Yeah.
get stuff done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely feel that way. And I feel like, especially if I have like some sort of incentive or like something like that, then it really, really motivates me.
Yeah.
But typically, even with like podcast stuff, if you have some sort of side business or side hobby or something like that, or even picking up a book, I find that the hardest time for me to get into the spree of reading is whenever I'm between books, because I just finished one.
Yes.
But when I finally choose to pick up like a new book, or I just start the first 10 pages, I'm into it again.
Yeah. So easy to fly by. I think that I'm the same way. Every time I say I'm in a reading slump, it's just because I haven't
started
tried
something new.
Yeah. I haven't done anything. Well, that is what I did for our quote unquote nesting nights, which highly recommend. Call them whenever you want, schedule a date, and just get things done. And definitely include other people if you have a partner or you have kids or you have a roommate. Definitely include them in it so you're not alone.
Yes.
Big recommendation.
I think that's one thing that with my weekend chores or whatever, when I pick Saturday or Sunday and I make my list of the things I want to get done, I always forget that like Jared's there too.
Yeah.
And it's his house too. Like we had a baby shower on a Saturday morning, like 11, but I obviously normally clean the house on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. And I was like, well, I'm going to want to clean it before then because, and so it was Friday night and I had made a list and Jared was like, well, can I help with anything? Yeah. I was like, oh,
you can.
And then I just shared the notes app with him because I make it, you guys know, because I talk about this all the time, I feel like, but on the notes app, I make a little list. And then whenever I click the little check and it goes to the bottom, it's like, dink, I love it. But anyway, so I shared it with him and he just like took 2 or 3 things and he was like, okay, I'll do these two or three things. And it went by so much faster. And I was like, wow, that was nice. And then he was like, why wouldn't I help? Like it's our house. I live in it too, and I should help clean.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. That's nice. Yeah. But anyway, so I feel like it's good to ask and include, and I mean, it can just be something you do together and then it gets done faster.
Yeah.
And you don't feel alone. I mean, it's so worth asking.
I completely agree. That is one of the ways that I would, like, now that we're kind of done talking about the nesting nights and we're going to go into a couple other ideas of how to get things done if nesting night's not really your vibe. But one of the ways I would say is making it fun. And that can be bringing a friend along or including your partner. It can be, I don't know if you've seen this before, but like spinning a wheel where you put like chores you have to do or like big to do things that you have to get done. And you like spin a wheel to see which one you do for that time. Like, that's always fun. Or this is something Julia did with me when I was a little girl. And I remember that I still specifically remember it. And I'm totally going to do it with my kids. But it was one time I had to clean my room and she was like, I'll help you. And I was like, oh, okay. And we went in and we rolled die to see how many items we had to clean up. So, like, it would be my turn, and I would roll an 8, and so I would have to pick up 8 things and put it away, and then she would roll. And it was so fun and so cute. So I feel like that could be a good way to do something, or, whatever it is. But just having, like, having a way to make it fun and make it, not so daunting is always great. And for us, it was, like, for our Friday nights kind of thing, it was fun because it was almost like a date night together that we were spending time together. And honestly, we are total checked off the list kind of people. Yeah. So like that was really fun for us. Yeah. But however you need to make it fun.
Yeah. I think another thing about making it fun is that I realized that I'm not naturally someone who is aware that my surroundings are affecting my mood or whatever. I just kind of like go through life like, I have to do this, have to do this, have to do this. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I should be enjoying this, Yeah. Like, even if it's something mundane or annoying as like vacuuming, I only get to do this however long. So I might as well make the vacuuming as enjoyable as possible while I'm there, And so I think that for me, I have found that audiobooks is something that I really like during chores.
Yes.
But then I've kind of been off of that again, and I'm on to this like particular playlist that I really, really love during this season. And so I think just thinking about something like that, like before you barrel into your to-do list, maybe think about like, okay, do I want to light a candle, or do I want to put on a playlist, or do I want to
listen to this audiobook. Turn on this movie.
Or I know you've said before that sometimes you'll get like cute or something just for yourself. You know, like go put on some lipstick or something. Like who knows? I don't know. But whatever you do, if you make it a little bit more enjoyable for yourself, then it's just gonna be it's just gonna
all day you're gonna have a good time doing it.
And then you're gonna do it again.
And you're gonna be happy to do it.
That's kind of the trick to this, I think.
Yes.
Is finding a way to make this so that you will come back and get shit done again in the future.
Absolutely. Another way you can kind of decide to get things done, I feel like we touched on it for just a second, but incentivize yourself, or like tell yourself that you cannot get this fun treat, or you can't get this fun drink. You can't have your, I don't know, like I really do think about, I'm a drinks girl.
Yeah, me too.
So for me, I'm like, oh, when I get something done, I can go get my cherry limeade, or like when I get something done, I can go get my McFlurry, or I can drink my quirk, like whatever it is. But you have to get your thing done first.
Yes.
So like incentivizing yourself, you get it done.
I did this earlier today. It's football Sunday, and we're not going to talk about it because both of our teams lost. But the noon games were coming on, and you guys were in like open doors. People come over if they want, and I love hanging out on football Sunday. And so, but I knew I had to get grocery shopping done, and I've told you I've been dreading that so much. But I was like, you know what? This is perfect. I can tell myself that I can go over and watch the games with you after I get grocery shopping done.
Yes.
And so I used it as an incentive. But other times I've used the week I vividly remember. I wonder if I'll remember this my whole life because it's such a silly thing. But I remember it months later. But the first week I decided to do my weekend chores thing, I said, okay, this is my list. When I get all these things done, I can go get bottomless mimosas at
We talked about this in an episode. I was literally going to reference it.
And I was like, okay, bottomless mimosas at Sinclair's if I get all this done. And we got up, we did our walk, I did my workout, whatever, and then I had breakfast, started on my list. And then an hour and a half later, what am I doing? Bottomless mimosas.
Yeah, baby. But you deserved it.
Yes.
You got your thing.
I got my shit done. And I haven't done that since, but I think about it almost every weekend.
Yeah.
Almost every weekend, I'm like, well, if I get this stuff done, I could get bottomless mimosas. But I end up usually rewarding myself with something else. But because you just can't do bottomless mimosas every week.
Unfortunately not. It's not quite sustainable, but it is fun.
It is fun. But that was the first week, and I really think that it started the habit on a positive note.
Yes.
But if it's home projects or something like that, like, you can always say, okay, we're going to get this home project done, and then we're going to go see a movie, or we're going to get this home project done, and then we're going to, you could even be like, and then one of the last thing on the list is like booking our flight for our next trip or something like that. Something just fun like that.
Ending it on a high note.
Yeah, giving yourself a treat, like an incentive. Yeah. I think usually it's the smaller thing, like, oh, I'm going to go get myself a specialty coffee or the cherry limeade or whatever it is. Something more simple like that. But
even for a football Sunday of being like, okay, I'm going to get all my chores done, get all my grocery shopping done. That way I can sit on the couch and watch 7 hours of uninterrupted football time.
Yes.
Like, whatever you want to do, whatever that reward is for you, picking it out and then like making the promise to yourself of you're going to follow through and get this done. Yeah. And then you can reward yourself. And it's also just good for the soul and good for the ego.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I love it.
One of my last things is we did our episode of like, choose your hard.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end of the episode, you had asked, you're like, what is one thing that you need to get done that if this was not to be done in 5 months, you'd be so disappointed in yourself? And I specifically, once you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things on my list that I'm telling myself I need to get done that I just am never doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, and in 5 months, if I don't do it now, I will be so disappointed that's still not done.
Yeah.
2 of those things that I was thinking of was figuring out my car registration, and changing my social security name.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I remember right after I had this, I think it's a really good idea. But I had this idea, then I was like, okay, I'm going to list out what I need to get done. And it was like the really, really big things, not the smaller things of like the cleaning the house kind of chores, but like the big things that were not being done in my life. And I was like, okay, I'm going to write them down on one sheet of paper at a time. So like one sheet of paper will say, figure out car registration.
A full 8.5 by 11.
Whatever says, whatever says paper you want. Could be sticking out. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Next one will say, change social security number. Next one after that will say, pay your sales tax, whatever it is. And then I was going to assign each month at the beginning of the month. That was my task for the entire month. So that way, again, I'm not super overwhelmed. Ball is moving though.
Yeah.
And it's getting done within these 5 months kind of thing. So I really, really liked that idea of being like, okay, these are the things that I really need to get done, and then assigning it to a month. So if there was one of the things like the car registration, for example, that had lots of steps, it was not an easy one-step process. But if I hadn't put that on my nesting night and I was just like, okay, that's when I'm getting done in September, then I have the whole month to get it done.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I really liked that idea. And I started incorporating it into like me and Mason's monthly resets. I'd be like, okay, here's what I'm doing this month. Or okay, here, Mason, what are you doing this month? Kind of thing. And then that way it was just a nice idea, I think, of having a goal in mind.
Yes. I like that a lot. And it reminds me a lot of, a couple things, home ownership wise.
Yes.
But where I've heard people say before, like, instead of getting all your windows redone in 1 year or like at one time or whatever, because that's going to be like $25,000.
Yes.
You know, instead of doing that, just replace one window every 6 months or a couple windows every year or something like that.
Yeah.
And by the time that 4 or 5 years passes, then you've spread out that cost and labor and the hassle that just goes into doing that over 4 or 5 years, but you have all new windows basically.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Or one person one time told me, redo one room in your house every year. That's it. Just one room. This year, the bedroom is the room. And it doesn't, not like major renovations or anything,
right?
But like, okay, whatever I want in the bedroom changed. Like if I want to upgrade lamps, or if I want to upgrade my dresser, or I want
a new mattress.
Yeah, I need to get a new mattress or something like that. Bedroom is all that I do this year. And you could set it aside for like, okay, at the new year, January or whatever, there's probably all sorts of New Year sales. I don't know. You could do that. But then it's like, okay, and then you don't focus on the kids' room or the basement or whatever.
And then you're getting nothing done.
But you just, but then it's like, because you're focused on these things in this amount of time, like this is, for you guys, it was this Friday are these tasks for this nesting night.
Yes.
You trusted that in the future we're going to get that other stuff done because we already figured out what we're going to do. And that's going to happen in the future. It was like what we talked about with Chloe Love on that episode where she compared it to sober me taking care of drunk me taking care of sober me, whatever.
Yes.
But like mostly just like present you taking care of future you. Or trusting future you to do those things, like while present you does these things, I guess. I don't know. That wasn't pretty, but you know what I mean? So I feel like with home projects, I could see it a lot, and it's starting to get me like going more.
Yeah, you're like, well, I'm ready.
Yes, where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on these things. And then after that, we can move on to like the next thing or whatever.
Yes. It reminds me of one of your mantras of like, little by little, a little becomes a lot.
Yes. And I love that. But when you get stuck in analysis paralysis and you don't even do a little, you never do a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
Because if you never do a little, you never do a lot. So it's just, I think it's genius.
Thank
I
you.
think these are great tips. And I really, truly think you could apply them in work. You can apply them if you have like a side hustle in your home ownership. I think you could apply them. Even simple things like I have so many friends right now potty training. And I really feel like you could even apply it to something like that. Like that's a long game process.
Yes.
You know? So maybe you put on your calendar, okay, this week we're gonna go buy undies that they love. We're gonna take them to Target. They're gonna pick out their undies and they're gonna love them.
Yeah.
And then okay, the next week we're gonna talk about like pee or I don't know how it goes, you know.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna read this book this week. We're gonna buy the underwear this week. We're gonna get the candy this week.
Yeah, and obviously there's uncontrollables, you know, there's things that you can't control. But if you have a plan, it is just so much, you're so much more likely to follow through.
100%. You're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
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 I like it. That's how me and Mason got our 84 list baby nesting to do items done before baby even got here.
Yeah. And actually, do you have that list?
Yeah, I'm sure I do.
You should send it to me. I'll put it in the show notes if you're okay with sharing it.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. I don't know if other people would get any use out of it, but
well, we'll share it. We'll share it, and you guys can decide if it's helpful or not. But we'll put it in the show notes. But just as like an example of some of what worked for you, and then other people could use it if they needed to.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we have other pregnant people listening.
Sure, yeah. And if you are someone who's like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start with nesting, let me know. I'm happy to share what I did. So
awesome. Well, we hope this helps you get shit done.
Yes. Hope it motivates you to get shit done.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. I will miss you throughout the next couple of weeks, but I'm so excited to listen to Morgan and listen as a listener instead of a co-host. So I'm really excited. All right. Well, yeah, I was going to say, see you guys next week.
But you won't.
I won't.
I mean, you could if you watch the YouTube. Well, no, but you won't see them.
Yeah.
We never see them, though.
No, we don't. Well, I love you guys, and cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.